The rhetoric has been intense for months and reached its peak as members of the House gathered to pass historic healthcare reform. Now, the passionate words of protest have turned into threats of violence. At least 10 Democrats and a few Republicans say they have received death threats. Vandals threw bricks, smashing the windows of a string of Democratic Party campaign offices in districts across the country. Leading members of both parties have denounced such acts. Opposition Republican House Minority Leader John Boehner and Democratic Party House Speaker Nancy Pelosi.
Words have power. They weigh a ton, and they are received differently by people and depending on their, shall we say, emotional state. And we have to take responsibility for words that are said that we do not reject.
Threats and violence should not be part of a political debate.
Darrell West is with the Brookings Institution. He says during the debate, anti-reform leaders frightened some people by suggesting that Mr. Obama's reform would ration health care for the elderly.
I think it's a combination of Republican Party leaders and members of the media, especially television and radio talk show hosts. Both of those sets of individuals have really fanned the flames of discontent over health care. They have exaggerated some of the features to really scare people.
Just say no!
West believes much of the animosity stems from deeper fears.
I think people are just so worried about health care reform that it's like an ink block test that, whatever they're worried about, whether it's race or big government or losing health care or having to pay more, that has come to the forefront and has motivated people to rather extreme types of actions.
Andy Barr is a reporter with the Politico online and print news service. He says Republicans want voters to be angry at incumbent Democrats for congressional elections in November. But he fears things could get out of control.
And the truth is, when you get people that fired up, there are some crazy people out there and they're going to do crazy things.
Barr also says the healthcare debate touches people more directly than other major political decisions, such as America's decision to go to war in Iraq.
This affects a lot of people. I don't want to say that the Iraq war doesn't, but there are so few people who are in the military. We don't have a draft anymore, all that kind of thing.
Darrell West says ultimately, politicians need to moderate their tone.
People in Congress have to grow up. It seems like the lack of civility has grown worse and worse over the last few years.
As authorities continue their investigation into the incidents, President Obama continues to promote the new health care law. In Iowa, he said now that the measure is law, most people will realize that there are no terrible consequences, and many will be helped by consumer protections. Cindy Saine, VOA News.